visiting my mom today and her friend Alex, and I thought it would be really cool to take a picture of them in Alex's art studio. And I'm going to do it by using my fluorescent lights and showing you how to create a little depth and dimension in your photographs by using something called the 2-to-1 lighting ratio. These lights in the stands are really durable, yet they're really easy to move around, and they're safe. You just pick them up and put them where you want. There's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, I've set up both lights, and we're going to be using one light as our main light and the other light as our fill light. And I wanted to introduce something to you called 2-to-1 lighting ratio. A lot of professional photographers use this, so I'm going to adjust my main light up a lot higher, and my fill light's going to be pulled back to create some dimension and form on the face. And technically that's a 2-to-1 lighting ratio, and we're not going to be exact here today. We're going to kind of eyeball it, but I'll show you how it's done. If you're taking pictures of people, think about how you want the image to look. Bright and happy, or dark and mysterious, or somewhere in between. You can control the look by controlling the contrast in your image. Contrast is created with highlights and shadow. The relationship between the highlight and shadow in your scene is called a lighting ratio. It's measured in numbers. 1-to-1, 2-to-1, and 4-to-1 are just a few examples. To emphasize the difference between the various lighting ratios, I'm going to use these close-up pictures I took of my mom. We're working with two lights in this scene, the main light or key light and the fill light. The main light is the strongest and has the most influence on your scene. It's placed close to the subject and off to an angle, slightly above the eye line. The fill light is placed at an angle on the opposite side of the subject and used to fill in the shadows. The fill light is the only light we're going to move and adjust. A lot of professional photographers prefer to use a light meter to calculate and adjust the proper ratio of light falling upon their subject, but we're going to do it the easy way, without a light meter. We're simply going to change the distance of the fill light to the subject and observe how the contrast changes with our eyes. A 1-to-1 lighting ratio is created by placing the main light and the fill light at an angle to your subject and equal distance away. In this case, each light is approximately 2 feet away from my mom. Since these lights are cool to the touch, you can place them pretty close. The effect is bright and somewhat flat, but this high-key look does tend to even out skin tone and diminish imperfections. A 2-to-1 lighting ratio is created by leaving the main light where it is and backing the fill light away approximately another 6 inches. Observe the brighter side of the face. It should appear twice as bright as the shadow side of the face. Now you can begin to see how light and dark can create dimension and form in your image. A 4-to-1 lighting ratio has more contrast and looks more dramatic because I've backed the fill light away even farther. Now it's about 3.5 to 4 feet away from my mom. You should see approximately 4 times more light in the highlight areas of the face than in the shadow areas. Here's a good starting point for your camera settings. Set the mode dial to manual, the ISO at 400, the aperture at f5.6, and your shutter speed at 1/100th of a second. Take a few shots. If things look too dark, you can adjust your shutter speed and aperture to allow for more light. Just remember, if you use a shutter speed less than 1/60th of a second, you'll need a tripod so your images aren't blurry. You can also enhance the dramatic lighting effect you created by turning your images to black and white using an image editing software program like Photoshop or with free programs like Picasa. Now you know how to see the light and create dimension and depth in your images. It's time to get to work on your masterpiece. So this was just one of the many setups you can use with my home studio lighting kit. Thanks, Mom and Alex.
Thank you, Erin.